point, we have been speaking mainly about bioethics, what the definition of bioethics is, how it arose, how can we understand it as an interdisciplinary endeavor and examination and reflection. And now what I want is to try to understand responsible leadership in this context. And as I told you, one area where we can work is in the area of healthcare. So, in this area of healthcare, we can think that maybe there are different kinds of levels in order to think in how to think responsible leadership. And we can think responsible leadership at an individual level. We can think it at a medium level. We can think it at a national level, and maybe even into a global level. So how can we understand all these levels, and why can we speak in this case of responsible leadership? Well, for example, in the case of the individual level, we can think in the physician, and we can think in the patient-physician relationship. And we can think, for example, that first issue is to have respect for my patient, to be able to hear what this person wants, what are his or her fears, what are his or her values, and in a way respect this. And this is something that seems very trivial, but it's not so easy really to follow. So this is a first way, I think, of being a responsible leader, because it's not only what I do in relation to my patient, but also how this will be perceived generally. And we will see that in this sense it is very important. And it is even more important when we are facing vulnerable people, when we are facing people that need our help. And it is in these situations where we should show this respect and be helpful to these kind of patients. There is also another way, I think, that we can think in responsible leadership in this area. And this has to do with recognizing our own limits, something that sometimes for physicians it's not so common, but it's important to have this Socratic mood and know what I don't know, and in a way share this with patients and ask them what they would want when there's not a clear cut or a clear situation or a clear treatment to follow. So this is another way of thinking this kind of things. And I think that the third way of thinking this responsible leadership is thinking in the teaching situation physicians have. Because all what we do, in a way, is very important for the others that are seeing. And when physicians are behaving, in a way they are also teaching. And teaching is it's a very important part of many of the physicians' work. So in this sense, we can think that by the example and the conduct and the behavior of the physician, we can really be responsible leaders, and we can help build this kind of responsible leadership. But this is just the first level. I told you that there are different levels. There is another level, which it is connected to one of the origins we spoke of bioethics. And this is the possibility that there is, for example, in hospitals to have ethics committees. And ethics committees can also behave in a way responsible. So I think that the ethics committees are these organisms that should behave having all these critical views in order to avoid what we were seeing as prejudice or biases that the famous God committee made. So in this sense, it is very important to have an ethics committee that behaves in a leading way. No? Not that there is a leader that dominates the group, but the ethics committee having this leadership role and, for example, helping not only solve very difficult cases, which are the cases that come to this ethics committee in order to know how to behave, how to solve them, but also for the cases of hospital policies, which is also very important, how the hospital will behave, for example, regarding informed consent, for example, regarding programs they might have that have an ethical angle. So this is another way of thinking. And finally, we can think also in national ethics committees, which are the ones that may give guidelines and policies for the whole country.